And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm touching base with you as I always do every day and sometimes on the weekends if I'm on the move. How are you guys doing? Oh man, it's been a crazy week and the markets has been up and down this morning. So just so you guys know, the markets have been up and down this morning. So, but we'll see how it all ends up because this is the new world we live in. This is the new world we live in. And so let's see. I see Hannah is in the building. Hannah is in the building. Hannah says, "Good morning, Ron, Antoine, and Touch Base Daily fam." Nice. And so yeah, and I think we are on our Instagram is already up and running as well. So we have that, and so folks are looking at us on Instagram, and they can join us over at YouTube. So if you're in Instagram, join us on the YouTube, the YT. Okay, guys. So, well, I don't like to talk about politics on the days when I have an amazing person on for Wisdom Wednesday. And we've had some great folks on, but this is one that is dear to my heart. One of my good friends. And we met at the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce at an event, and we've been friends ever since. We never looked back. So it's just been, he is so accomplished, so smart, and doing so many amazing things. And I am so happy to have him on today. Again, like I said, let me just check on. I just wanted to share. What is that thing I had here? Let me just go back to Antoine because let me see here. Hold on a second. I'm going to read it as it is on his Instagram page because it's much easier to do it this way. And but I'm so, like I said, I'm so excited. And then after this, we'll have a Q&A, and you can have a conversation with him as well. But he's so informative. Started his own business. Anyway, here we go. So our guest for today on our Wisdom Wednesday, Touch Base Daily, Mr. Antonne Jones. He is an owner of Groovy Smoovies. He also is part of the Spark Park Chef Marketing Officer. Spark Park Chef Marketing Officer. Best-selling author / book publisher. Film producer. Marathon runner. And street park. So this is an amazing dude. He's like one of my superheroes. So here he is. This is Antonne Jones. What's going on, partner?
Hey, Ron, man, you're way too kind. Far too kind.
It is so good to see you, man. And I said, how we are going to be conversing on this platform is how we converse when we're on the phone all the time and just talking and chatting it up. We literally, if I'm on the phone with him, I have to kind of like say, okay, it's time to get off because we will keep talking.
That's true.
So Antoine, man, I don't even know where to begin because you are like I said, you're one of the most fascinating people in my life.
Oh, thank you.
And you inspire me in so many ways. I mean, I would say, where did this all begin? I mean, you are a CEO, a founder of a company. You do marathons. You're into sports. You love the Eagles. I mean, you got a lot going on. So where did this all begin? Your passion for life?
It started when I was younger, man, honestly. I remember when I was as young as maybe like 8 or 9, just wanting to be independent, wanted to run my own business. It started like, I don't know if you remember, like years ago back in the day, when people would go to the grocery stores, there would be like people that would help them with their bags from their carts into their cars. That's what me and my cousin would do. We started from there. We would go to the supermarkets like on the weekends and help people with especially like older people with their groceries, to take it out their carts and put it in their cars. And they would give us a quarter or $1. different things like that. So it started real young, and then it just progressed as I got older. It went from um, helping with shopping, with the bags and the cars, the shoveling,
Mhm.
the different things like that. I always had and wanted to have an independent spirit.
High school. Were you into sports in high school?
I went to. I played basketball in high school. I went to a well-known basketball school, Roman Catholic High. And
Ah.
yep.
And it's interesting. I would have thought you played football.
Now you know what? I played football when I was younger, but it was a little too much contact for me. Basketball is a little bit less, less strenuous and a lot less dangerous. So I basketball was my thing.
Basketball was your thing. Who was your favorite basketball team?
The 76ers, of course. But I will say this.
You are a true. Now, were you born and raised in Philadelphia
I was
in the
born and
area?
raised. I was born and raised in South Philly. Yes,
Wow,
born and
yes.
raised.
You are a hardcore Pennsylvania, Philadelphia guy.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. I mean, I love. It's a proud thing to be from Philly, but I'm
Mhm.
even prouder about my area. I'm from a neighborhood called South Philly.
Okay.
And if anybody do any due diligence or look into South Philly, we have a really rich culture there. And the
Mhm.
people from South Philly are very proud people. It's kind of like Brooklyn. I associate it with like Brooklyn. People from
Mm.
Brooklyn love Brooklyn.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how South Philly is.
Nice. I was in Philadelphia, for the first time in a long time,
Okay.
last month. No, no, not
Mhm.
last month. It was before my surgery, so it was in January, and, my buddy had his birthday party, and, so I went down, hang out with him, and then also hang out with one of my friends from our community, and she gave me a good tour of, different places in Philadelphia. We got on the train. That was my first time on the train. I was like, "Whoa, I'm experiencing Philadelphia like for the first time." I've driven through it. I've hung out, maybe
Right.
go to some show, but never had I had such a wonderful day going from places to eat downtown. It was great. And Philadelphia, yeah, is the folks that live in Philadelphia. I met a gentleman from South Philadelphia at the
Okay.
party, and he, like you said, a very proud
Sure.
Philadelphian.
Sure. Sure. It's a now the only problem I have with that is that you were in Philly and you didn't call me. But
Yes, I
I'm gonna
could get
forgive
in.
you
I
this
say
time.
I could get in trouble for saying this.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'll forgive you because I have been in New York and we didn't connect. So
Yes,
let's make it a
but
point. The next time I'm gonna call you.
yes, and when I go to Philadelphia, I'm coming to Philadelphia again because I had such a great time. So I
Okay.
will definitely get back on that train, and I
Mhm.
will let you know I'm coming down.
All right, good.
So
Perfect.
you also you went from high school, college, and you became, I guess I would say this is the first thing that you became, because you became
Mhm.
many things. You became an author. How did
Okay.
you start getting into writing?
That's a good. So my writing actually started before I actually became an author. So I used to always like writing. My mom was a writer. My grandmother
Okay.
was a writer. They weren't published writers, but they used to
Yeah.
write their journals and little stories and stuff like that. And I would read them. And I
Mm.
always liked their stories. I always enjoyed reading and writing. So kind of fast forward a little bit, around 1995, this is kind of when it really started. Me and a friend of mine went to go see a movie called Dangerous Minds. I don't know if you
Oh, I
remember
remember
that movie.
Dangerous Minds. That's a good movie.
Remember with Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Yes,
And she went
yes.
to, I think, like Chicago, and she was like this teacher, and she was like civilizing the natives. That's the way I looked at it. And when
Mhm.
I saw the movie, I thought it was so stereotypical. And I was
Mhm.
like, I don't like
The
that.
White Hope. The
Yes,
Great White Hope,
yes.
yes.
So what I did was after seeing the movie, I wrote an editorial and I
Mhm.
had my mother fax it to our local newspaper, which was called the South Philly Review. I had no
Mm.
idea they was going to publish it, but the following week on Thursday, when the publication comes out, my editorial was in there, and I was like,
Wow.
wow. And I realized from that point on, I have a voice. I can use that writing and my voice can be heard. And from there,
Mm.
But just carried on until I got into like the publishing world and the author world. But I started off with local writings for editorials and local newspapers. Then the Philadelphia Daily News, the Enquirer, and then back around 1995, later on that year, that summer, as a matter of fact, two friends of mine said, "Hey, you should write a book about the Black Mafia. You know about it." And that's where the idea came from.
Now, why did they think you would know so much about the Black Mafia?
Well, that's a good question. Well, let me just tell you this, and I'm going to tell you the two gentlemen, and I got to shout them out. They're from St. Louis.
Yes.
These two guys, they had moved to our neighborhood, my neighborhood, and they were actually Crips, Ramos and a Hyde. Now, if anyone knows the history of Philly, we never had a gang problem as far as like Crips and Bloods. We had organized crime and other groups and stuff like that. However, those were two Crips that moved into my neighborhood, and me and them, we became friends. And they learned more about my background, and I learned about theirs, and we had like some camaraderie. And if you think about the story, because once they knew that the original Black Mafia started in South Philly.
Didn't know.
Sam Christian and those guys, that's where the original Black Mafia started. And my family, like when you're in South Philly, you know somebody who knows somebody, and they were all around. So I grew up around that environment. It's the Black Mafia. So the thing in South Philly, you had the Black Mafia, you had the Italian Mafia, you had the Jewish Mafia. So all these people are cohabitating in the same area. So that's what you kind of learn and know about. And you don't realize how not normal that is until you go outside of your community or outside your city. So I had that experience and knowing about those different lifestyles and different people and true stories and stuff like that. So he kind of understood where that I knew about it and suggested that I write about it.
Wow. See, every time we talk, I find out more. And so you end up writing about that. And then you started, because you've written 5 books.
Yeah, right. Now, so let me just say this. So the first book, The Family of Philadelphia Mob Story, that book eventually, that was used as the basis for the movie State Property by Jay-Z and Damon Dash. And if you look into that, so once before the book came out, I met with Jay-Z, I met with Dame Dash, and we were supposed to do the movie together, right? The deal didn't work out. It didn't happen. And then they went and did the movie anyway. And then, and like 2 years later, I sued them and we settled out of court. But if you see the movie State Property, it was a cult film. I had a cult following. If you see it, that was the basis of that movie was from my book, The Family of Philadelphia Mob Story. And one other note about that. So that was like one of the earlier books of post Donald Goines era, Iceberg Slimmer with the urban fiction. So it was my book, True to the Game, my book, The Family of Philadelphia Mob Story, True to the Game by Terry Woods, and The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. And before then, there was, at that time, we were the only 3 urban fiction books out at the time.
Wow. I'm going to bring up some of your books right here. And you can find these books on Amazon. And they'll be also linked in our, in here. You have The Family, and let me just pop this up.
The second one where it says the Lex Street Massacre, that's the wrong. Amazon has that wrong. That's not the right book cover. That's not the right book. Yes.
And then you have The Family 2, Life After Death.
Yes.
And then the one in Spanish.
Yes.
And this is the one that got you started. Equal Verdicts, the true story of the Lexington Street Massacre.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's not the right cover on there. Yeah, I don't know why the cover. The cover on there is different. That's not the.
Yeah, but they changed it. Yeah, I don't know. Amazon does that. They kind of like, I don't know where they get some of their like the covers, but somehow they do it. But these are the books, y'all. So check it out. Check out his page. Just put in Antonne M. Jones in the Amazon. And if you want to go and learn more of his books and read them, they've been on the bestseller list. And so really I'm just excited when I first met him. I met Antoine when we were at the Manhattan Chamber. We were at this luncheon kind of like event ceremony, and next thing you know, we just start talking and talking and talking and talking, and I was like, this guy is so fascinating.
Thank
And
you.
then you started to dabble in to creating your business that has grown a lot and has made some inroads in your area, and that is your Groovy Smoothies.
Groovy Smoothies, yeah. Well, just a note, because on Amazon, just in case, if you go on Amazon, I'm having my
Mhm.
publishing company update everything, because post-COVID, things got a little messed up on Amazon as far as
Yes.
photographs and stuff like that. So if anybody goes on there to look on there, I'm having it updated now, because there was some few errors on there. But just so you know, I'm having those taken care of this week. But
Nice.
also, just want to mention too, in the publishing world, like I also not just was a writer, but also got into publishing, book publishing,
Yes,
and
yes.
learned the
I
publishing world.
forgot to say about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
How did you
and that was important, Ryan, because it kind of ties in with the
Yes.
Manhattan Chamber of Commerce and the business aspects of it. Because I didn't want to just be a writer, you know.
Mhm.
I wanted to understand the book publishing business, because that's where
Yes.
the money's at. The publishing is where the money's at. So I want to learn more about the business. And that's what I did. So all the titles that I published, all the books that I wrote, I self-published also, which at that
Wow.
time, in the late 90s, was almost unheard of. Another writer from Philly named Omar Tyree, he was one of the first ones to do independent urban books. But at
Mhm.
the time, it was unheard of. But the reason why we self-published is because the bigger publishers didn't think there was a market for what we were writing. So we did it
Yes.
ourselves. And because of that, and what I ended up doing was publishing my books, but also, as you know, we talked about, I partnered with Damon John from Fubu Shark Tank,
Yes,
and
yes.
I published his first two books, The Display of Power, How
Mhm.
Fubu Changed the World of Fashion and Entertainment, and The Brand Within.
Really?
Yeah. So his first two best
Wow.
New York bestsellers, I published along with him.
Man, so it all went from your article
Mhm.
being posted, shared as an editorial, and you started creating books and then publishing books. And what a journey.
Yeah.
What's your favorite of all? And just before we go into your Groovy Smoothies, which book is your favorite book and why?
Well, it's kind of like, which one is your favorite kid?
Because they're like your children, right? They're like my
They are.
photos are like all my children. But
Yes.
you got all these children. Which one is your favorite that really is like hits the depth of your heart?
I would say that my first book, The Family, a Philadelphia Mob Story. And I'm going to tell you why, because it was a lot. First of all, it was the first book that I wrote. I didn't have any doubts that I was so I was so confident that I've never wrote a book before, but I was so confident I could do it. And then the challenges that came along with not writing the book, but getting published, it was so much. The backstory and getting that book to the market is a story in itself. And then
Mm.
when I read the book, like I only read the book like 3 times. I don't read my own stuff. I really don't. I don't. But when I read the book, it was semi-autobiographical. And then when I look at it now, I'm like, yo, dude, you were really out there. Your mind, like, what were you thinking? But that book, right, contrary to what some people think or may have thought, it's not a glamorization of street lifestyle. It's just the
Yes.
opposite. It gave a truthful glimpse into a world that's often misrepresented. And
Mm.
because of that, my purpose with that book wasn't just to like make money. My purpose with that book and all the other books was to increase literacy, especially amongst urban Black men, because I
Mm.
wanted to write stories that we can see ourselves in, see ourselves dignified, see ourselves being intelligent, but keeping it authentic, the world that a lot of us can associate with. And because of that, the family actually became a required read in numerous high schools and junior high schools. It was selected by organizations, youth organizations,
Wow.
and things of that nature. So that was the purpose of it. Like, it wasn't to glamorize the drug dealing lifestyle and all that. That runs counter to what my mission was. My mission is to increase literacy and show other people that, especially people who look like me, that, hey, listen, we don't have to be just basketball players and rappers. We're writers, we're publishers, and we have tell our stories and our voices. And that was the main goal.
Wow.
That was the main goal.
Wow. That is, man, I'm always talking about it here in our community. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago after D Nice had his event here in New York City, the CQ family here, and the power of one.
Yes.
One person making a decision to impact others. And how far that goes, no one knows, because there's the actual differences in lives that you see like up front, but then there's ripples that go beyond that you will never know or see. And look at me. I mean, students have read your book and publishing and encouraging people and creating opportunities for literacy, and that is profound. And I love it. I love that I always say you are we have our conversations, and I always say you have more to give to our world than you probably realize. I mean, it's just you've given so much, and you continue to give. And so now you give in another way. You created this amazing smoothie kind of place, but we call it now smoothies, because it's smoothies, because you combine your love for smoothies, and you've also had this love for culinary. You love to make food, you like to create food, but you went into smoothies. And then you took your ideas and your love for movies, because you love film, and you combined the two and created this amazing place to eat out at, or to get your smoothies.
Yes. Well, so the company Groovy Smoovie was born basically during COVID. Everything prior to COVID, as you remember, we talked about, I was on my way to South Africa for location scouting for the TV show I was producing.
Yes, because we were going to work on that together.
Yes, we do have to get that. So what happened, everything shut down. So I love smoothies. I drink a smoothie almost every day anyway. So when everything shut down, I was thinking to myself, like, hey, listen, I want to open up a smoothie shop. Number one, because I need to get smoothies. I need to have my smoothie, but also having somewhere to go, because remember, everything was closed. So I said, you know what? I want to create a store, but I wanted to create something a little bit more than a store. I wanted to give people an experience. So I thought about, what do I love? And I said, I love movies. I love smoothies. So I combined the two, Groovy Smoothies. And that's how it was born. It was born, and basically, I can say almost out of necessity.
And it has serviced so many people in your community. I mean,
Yes.
I look at all the, like, I've seen some of the videos, and I've seen some of the kids that work there, the young people that work there. I see, these are all your different flavors that you got going on there. I was like, wow, I cannot wait to taste some of these. And but my favorite one will probably be the Purple Rain, or the Philly Wonka. So, but how did you come up with your creating these flavors and creating these different smoothies that you have that are your forefront smoothies in your store?
It was really through trial and error. It was thinking about, some, like, what kind of ingredients I can. And here's the thing: I have no background in culinary arts whatsoever. I really don't. I don't know how to cook or anything. Like, I could make some eggs and stuff, but this was totally outside of the box for me. So, I sat down and I figured out, what would I like? What kind of smoothies that would be interesting, would be healthy, but also taste good? Because some of the smoothies that you get, it tastes like protein drinks, or they taste like all
Yes.
vegetables. And I didn't like those. Those are good for some people, but I wanted something that I can actually healthy and enjoyable. So we
Mm.
came up with those. We had maybe like about 12 or 13. We um, minimized them. We took them down to about eight, our eight favorite, and then that's where the specialties came from, you know. And we opened the flagship store in Haddonfield, New Jersey. And the
Yes.
reason was Haddonfield is a little small, quaint town, but that was the place that was available. So I opened it up there, and I I got an opportunity to learn the business, because remember, that's not my background. I knew nothing about smoothie business. So that was more like a training place for me, and the learning the business of smoothies.
Wow. And so now you're getting ready to open up a new store in another in Philly. So you have one in Jersey, and
Yes.
now you are in your town. You're opening
Yeah.
up a smoothie in your town.
Yes. So right now I'm in the process of expansion, rebranding not rebranding the company, but kind of like now that and it kind of worked out good. Let me just say this, because the town I was in, where I opened the first store, is a smaller, quaint town, really nice town. But it helped me to learn the last couple of years, learn to know more about the business. So now I'm ready to expand the business
Mhm.
into Philly, Atlanta, New York. Just trying to expand it nationwide, and also launch a mobile trailer operation as well for the company. So I'm just really ready to just expand it and take it to the next level, because I understand the business more so now, a whole lot more now.
Wow,
Yeah,
and you are I'm proud of you. I was like, I remember when you called, I think you called me during COVID and you
I
kind of
did.
like passed that idea and I was like, that sounds pretty cool.
Right.
And you went and did it. I mean, that's another this is another one of my I call you a superhero in this way, is that you came up with an idea, you felt it and you felt the passion for it and you just went for it. You weren't afraid of failing. I'm sure I'm in the back of your mind you had it, but even in the midst of the hurdles and maybe your own hurdles and your own self, you kept going forward. And I mean, now your business has been around for now going on 4 years, right? So it's about
Five
what,
years
3
now.
years, 5
This
years.
is 5 years. But here, here's another important point about this.
Yeah.
This idea really came from, I remember I went to go, I was in Philly, and I went to go pick up my granddaughter. And I went to a corner store, they call them bodegas, right? And because I like for her to eat healthy. Like I went in there and they didn't have any fruit. They didn't have, and this is a Caribbean place. I mean, Dominican place, but they had no fruit. I'm like when you go into inner city, not all of them, but it's such bad food there. It's bad
Food
options.
deserts. Yep, food
It's
deserts.
terrible. And I think how you eat is how you feel. So
Yes.
my mission was to look. I want to help people and eating and making and giving them, providing them healthy
Mm.
options that still taste good and have fun. And when you come into my place and come into Groovy Smoothies, you get an experience. So everything is family oriented. We only show Disney or Marvel movies. Like it's nothing where you have to worry, but you could drop your kids off there and have smoothies. We have parties, all kind of stuff. But the main objective is to create and give healthy options for everybody. But Ron, honestly, and I keep it honest, keep it real with you, for our people, because I see
Yes.
how the options in our communities are so bad. Like this things where I live at, right? They would never have things like that out here. They don't
Mhm.
have those hugs and those chips and those high fructose. They don't have them out here. And I was thinking to myself, okay, now that I understand the business, now I want to come into the inner city. I want to come into our communities and build these groovy smoothies so we can have a place, number one, to have healthy options. And also I have like leadership most of my employees are high school students. So I employ them, create job opportunities, leadership skills, and they pass it on. So my 10th graders the following year, they become 11th graders, so they train the 10th graders. So it's more than just selling smoothies. It's a concept and an ideology and strategy to affect our people in a positive way. And I'm looking forward to building as we go along.
Wow, I love it. Again, always trying to give back and always thinking of our community, thinking of helping people, educate people. That is a mission, sir. That is a
Well,
great mission.
but we think about who's going to do it for us. I
That's
mean,
right.
I love our people. I do. Right? I love our people. I love when we eat better. We feel better. When you eat better, you feel better about yourself. You and I always talk about health and fitness. We always do. And when you take care of yourself, it's especially as you get older. But if you do it when you're younger, it becomes normal, becomes regular. So, and
Yes.
that's the mission, man. That's honestly the mission.
Well, speaking of your health and food,
Mhm.
and so I'm going to take you to this man's Instagram page,
Okay.
and I was like, look at this dude, look at this dude. So anyway, here you go, here you are on your page. His
Whoa.
page is Antonne Jones, and I see you in this apron and working, and look like you're cooking and making things. I was like, what is going on here?
I decided I was going to step out the box. I don't cook. I really didn't cook. So I said, look, I'm on this online exercise community, right? And they have recipes. So I said,
Uh-huh.
you know what? Let me try a recipe a week and just kind of, take control of that. Do something a little different. And that's exactly what those are.
And you are working out, you're doing your thing, and because you do these, are they, because they're more than just marathons.
I do, yeah.
You do a lot of get dirty kind of athletic stuff.
Yeah, I was a little chunky on that picture right there. I think I trimmed down. I was thinking, yeah,
So I'm gonna keep moving on. So we move from the chunky, but you got the food going on, you creating meals, and 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 you're a grandpa. So
I am. I'm a pop. I'm a pop pop.
and your
I'm a pop
papa,
pop.
and as I always tell folks, people think when we get to a certain age, life ends or life slows down or whatever. I have to say, when I turned 50, which is now
Mhm.
11 years ago, life became more exciting
Yes,
because you're you're young enough to still be physically able, and you have lived enough to have enough wisdom,
yes,
and you also come into a place that's totally comfort in yourself, where you don't care what people think. You're just like, you're just doing what you want to do, you love what you do. And I've been watching you, because we met before COVID.
we did.
We met before COVID, before the shutdown. And but watching you evolve, I mean, obviously this is who you are, but I mean, you just taking on new things. I mean, like the food. I mean, like you said, you weren't a cook. You're not a cook, but
Right.
now you're experimenting and getting out there and trying new things, and it is looking good. It looks good on you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Well, you know what? It's you know what it's right. It's about staying active,
Yes.
staying creative. I started hiking. I like hiking now. I've been hiking for the last couple of years. Boating. I'm not a big fisher, but I pretend I am, so I'm out there doing that. And just as you get older, as you mentioned, you have a different appreciation for life.
Yes.
Especially as you get older, and you want to have a certain quality of life also as you're living. And that's where I'm at with it.
Man, I am. So now that you've got these things going on, and guys, if you have any questions, make sure you just put a Q and then your question, so that way, if you have a question, so where do you, now that you have accomplished these, what you have in the past, and you're
Mhm.
working on your Groovy Smoothies, and you are learning cooking, and you're how did you get into marathons?
Good question. A friend of mine got me interested in running. I've never had any interest in running. I mean, I work out, but running was something I never took an interest in. My dad used to be a track runner, but a friend of
Really?
mine, yeah, my friend of mine said, "Hey, look, why don't you just try running?" And I remember we went to this local park and we ran about 2 miles. I thought it was going to be easy, and I was like dead. I was like, "My gosh, I'll never do this." I had the wrong sneakers on, everything. So what I ended up doing was I signed up for a 5K race, right? And after I did that first 5K, I was hooked. The race itself was good. I would probably last at the time or whatever. But once you complete it was about the process and completing it. And once I
Yes.
ran through the finish line, it felt so good. And from that
Mm.
point, I got addicted. So I went from the 5K, went to the 10K, 10 miler, half marathon, the Brooklyn half marathons, and then a marathon.
What?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's a challenge. You know what it is? It's about setting new goals for yourself and challenging yourself.
yes.
You know,
And
because I don't
you
like,
have set these
yeah, I
goals.
don't
You have
like
set
losing.
these
I don't like
goals.
losing, and I don't like saying that I cannot do something. I don't. If you tell me I can't, that's the best thing you could do because then I'm really going hard.
You're going in. You're going
I'm
in.
going in. Yeah,
There's a question from Dr. Tachi. She says, "Are you planning on expanding your menu beyond smoothies?"
absolutely. I'm planning on expanding to I can't pronounce ICI bowls or acai bowls. I have a really good import coffee. I'm getting
Mhm.
daily fresh sandwiches. I'm looking for um, a a company that does fresh pressed juices that's bottled to go. So I'm definitely expanding the menu, and that's one of the things. That's a great question, Dr. Tachi, because that's one of the things we're doing now is expanding the menu because I've noticed that there's an interest and there's a want for more items and more things. So I didn't want to do too much too fast. I kind of wanted to master
Yes.
the smoothie, but now we're ready to expand. So, yep, great question, and yes, we are.
Wow. What would you like to see on the menu? Like anything that you like, is it anything that you like? You know what? I've thought about this and I gotta have this item or these two items.
Is there a question for me?
Yes.
Oh, well, two things. One is when you think about from a business standpoint, look, the fresh pressed juices to go. I make juices there, but a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people would like for them to go. And also, I like to have some daily fresh meat sandwiches, healthy but tasty.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
type of sandwiches, those are go. Those two items are something, and coffee. And here's the thing, right? So there's a lot of coffee drinkers, and I get really good import coffee from Colombia and from Italy. So I'm looking at that and maybe adding some matcha. I'm not sure if how many people are familiar with matcha, but matcha is really, really good. And it's an
Mm,
alternative to coffee. So we're just playing around with a
nice.
few of those things.
Okay. Okay. Also, Dr. Tachi has another question. She
Sure.
says, "Are you looking at eventually offering franchise opportunities?"
Dr. Taj, that's a great question. I'm actually offering them now. And I'm looking, for anyone who's interested in getting in early, 100%. The thing about the one good, I like good matcha. I have really good matcha too. One of the Yeah. So one of the things about with the smoothie business, and I try to since it's not really familiar in our community, Smoothie King, give you an example, does $430 million a year.
Wow.
Smoothie King, $430 million a year. I think they have like 1,100 stores. It's a
They're
big
based
business.
now they're based out of New Orleans, right? Or
I think
Louisiana?
they are based on. I think they are.
Okay.
I think they are. But I know they have the naming rights to New Orleans arena down there, the Smoothie King Arena.
Yeah.
But it's great business. It's low overhead. It's not much overhead, and it's great business. It's a really good business.
Well, because I have a Smoothie King right here on the corner. When I walk
Mhm.
out my house, it's 2 blocks down.
Okay, so let me just say this, right? So we won best smoothies in South Jersey 4 years in a row. And the
Nice.
thing about with us, we don't use any turbinados, no sugars, no anything, because I figured out how I could use natural sweeteners in drinks. And I'll give you one. I'll tell you one secret. I can use Fuji. I'll just say this because it's for your listeners. Fuji apples. So I have a drink called the Green Smile, right? The Green Smile has spinach. It has spinach in there. It has fresh pressed apple juice, and the apple juice that we use has bananas. What else is in there? Cucumbers, right? What else? I'm always forgetting. Yeah, but anyway, but the thing is, I use fresh pressed apple juice in there, and the apples from Fuji apples, they're naturally sweet, so I don't have to add the sweetener.
Nice. I love Fuji apples. I'm an apple guy. I love all kinds of apples, but Fuji's one of my favorites. So now where do you see yourself? I mean, so you're going into franchising.
Yeah.
And that's happening now. So they can see that on your website.
Some of the information is on it, but if they want to contact me directly, they can do that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Yes. Awesome. And so where do you see yourself 5 years from now, sir?
I'm sorry. Kale also. It has kale.
It has kale.
I should know my menu. It has kale. 5 years from now. 5 years from now. That's a great question. I have some projects that I want to do. I want to expand the business, the Groovy Smoothies brand internationally. I had an opportunity. I have an opportunity. I travel to Europe a lot. On my way to Africa, we was going to Africa. So I'm looking at expanding the company to Europe, Africa, down in the Caribbean, internationally in Asia. And then I have two movie projects. Well, two film projects. One is a movie project, the Lex Street Massacre, which is the Equal Verdicts movie. And then I have the fashion competition show that I wrote for Damon called King on 34th, which is now Queen on 34th. So I'm looking to develop those two, expand the business, and then I think I'm going to retire. I want to retire and travel. Get a couple of houses in different countries and just travel and be a pop-up.
Nice. Guys, if you're in the building, make sure you hit the likes. As they say, smash. That's my new terminology. Smash the likes. There are not enough likes matching how many people are in the room. So hit the likes. So it lets the algorithms know that you are here watching. Dr. Tachi is on the ball today. She's the Q&A girl. Dr. Tachi says, what would be a dream location for you to have a store in?
I would think
obviously outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah. I would say Orlando. I'm gonna say Orlando. And really? The reason I say Orlando, because you have Disney World and you have Universal Studios there, right? And I had an idea to build a Groovy land. And I had a concept for it where it's really interactive, and it's really like it ties in with what's going on already in Orlando, but with our style and our little flavor to it, and has food, it has smoothies and stuff like that. So Orlando would be great. And then, it has millions of visitors every year. And I think that it would be ideal for like people from around the world. They would stop and see it, because if you Google, there is no movie themed smoothie company in the world other than Groovy Smoothies.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. So Orlando.
And you've been featured on NBC, ABC, and I was reading the article. I have to show you this article, guys. I ran through this whole article. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't know he had anyway, I'll show you. Here we go. This is the article that was shared about his company and his store. And this is by EIN NewsWires. And they go all in about the store. They interview him. It's an excellent write-up on what you've accomplished and your goals and what you've accomplished in your community. And so that's by NewsWires. And Groovy Smoovies set to make a comeback with new store openings in Philly. And that was just released this year. So nice work.
Yeah, Ron, when you think about it, so it has come with some challenges also.
Of course.
One of the challenges, not a lot, not many, but one of the challenges is that, and I noticed smoothies, and this industry is not big in our community. It's
Mm-hmm.
really not. You know, our people do buy smoothies, but it's not a really big thing. And we don't have companies like, I don't know if there's a big black owned minority or black owned company that has a smoothie company. So I'm in kind of
Mm-hmm.
almost in a space by myself, and with the expansion and things of that nature. So, some of the potential people that I had done business with investment, they're like, I don't really know, because they don't know the business. So
Right.
that's one of the challenges in terms of expansion. But as I mentioned, Smoothie King does 400 million a year. And there's like three other like Juice Capital. There's other different companies like smoothie companies that do really well. And it's we have a different niche, because I
Yes.
combine smoothies and movies and entertainment. So we have two worlds colliding together. So
Yes.
that, you know, like I said, like I want to tell you, I always share the great things, the successful things, but I have to be completely transparent and say what the challenges are too, because that's sometimes that's missing.
Yes.
But those challenges and obstacles are things that we can get over. And that's why I'm working with like minds. I'm expanding a little bit more outside of this area, outside of the tri-state area and so forth, with people that say, hey, you know what? I want to take a look at that. I want to make it, I want to,
Mm.
and you know, you can make a difference. And to be honest with you, we do it for love, but we can make some money too.
Wow. Wow. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Any other questions out there? Oh, Dr. Tati has another one. She goes, what lessons have you learned about entrepreneurship in the time you've been open?
Um, I've learned to, it's great to work hard, but it's equally important to work smart.
Mm.
You know, and that's one of the things Damon always like. Damon is someone I go to in terms of speaking with, in terms of questions and different mentorships and stuff like that, and a few other people. But just learning to work smart, you know, and learning about my business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
learning the difference in price between wild blueberries and regular blueberries. You know, it sounds,
Mm.
you know, the difference in price is almost double, but I can still make a great smoothie with the regular blueberries. It's just really learning the business and the importance. Another thing, Doctor, great question, is bookkeeping. Bookkeeping and keeping good records are key. That's very, very important. Customer service. And when you come to Groovy Smoovies, we're very big on customer service. Very big. Like, I will let people go if they're not great customer service. I want you to, it's good that you know our regulars, ask them what their names are. And if they have certain drinks that they always get, save them, write them in a little booth that we have, and remember them, and be very friendly with the kids and the families. We have, you know, those are the things. The customer service,
Customer
um,
service is king.
and cleanliness. I'm really
Yes.
big in cleanliness. So I know I answered a whole bunch of things, but those are the lessons that I learned.
You bring up something that's, I mean, my pet peeve, because I'm about customer service. I mean, my community knows. I had an incident with a technical company, and
Mhm,
and when the customer service was horrible,
mhm.
I lost my everything. I
Okay.
lost it,
Right.
and it made me change over everything. I mean, it was the customer service was so bad that it made me come home and say, "That's it. This company's done.
Mhm,
I will have nothing to do with this company ever again." And I literally changed over every
mhm.
computer, every laptop, everything on my watch, my phone. I went on a I went on a like exploration of changing everything. And customer service can make you or break you.
It can. It can. It really can. It really can. If you look at our reviews, and I'll say this, and I say it proudly, but it's a reflective of my team. If you
No,
look at
great
our reviews
reviews.
on Google, we have almost a perfect rating, 4.9. And we take pride in that. It's because, you know, obviously, you know, the drinks are really good, but our customer service, I'm really, really, really big on customer service. Really big. It makes a
Customer
difference.
service is king in business. I always
Mhm.
say a lot of companies that started with great customer service, and when they lose their way, it's usually because they fail in the customer service. They start to, you think of all of the great companies. I always talk about me being an electronic nut over here. I would go to this place we have what's called J&R Music.
Mm.
J&R Music was like family owned. It was around for years, decades, almost a century. And we used to go there because of the customer service and the knowledge of all the employees. The employees worked there like 20 years, 30 years, because the company treated the employees with high regard, and then in turn, the customers with high regard.
Sure.
And it was such a great business. And obviously they sold the building and they built a skyscraper there. And we were all so sad to see them go, but they were one of the most amazing companies. And again, you check every great company, customer service.
Well, you think how much it costs for customer acquisition. It's cheaper, actually. They're saying it's cheaper to keep her, but you know, you can apply that with the customers. You know, you want to keep your customers, you want to keep them engaged, you want to give them good service, because customer acquisition and customer loyalty is key to your business. It's key to business, being successful and longevity in business.
Dr. Tachi has another question. She's
I
our
love it.
question lady of the day. She says, since you are a film buff and Dr. Tachi is a film professor, just so you know, have you ever thought about sponsoring a local film festival?
I've never thought about a local film festival, but I love supporting local local events and different agendas and stuff like that. That's one of the keys too. Is I'm really big and being part of and supporting the community. A lot of companies, a lot of stores, you know, businesses, they come into the community and they just, I don't want to say it in a frivolous, negative way, but they just take. But I'm a huge believer in sponsorships of local events. Like we sponsor a couple of local youth baseball teams. Not, you know, not full sponsors, but whatever we can do as far as like we can, you know, the small sponsorships, medium sponsorships. But we're really, with Groovy Smoothies and our brand, our key is to really gel well and be a part of the community and give back. Not just come and take. We want to give, and share. So to answer your question, I would definitely consider it. I'm a film guy, so I understand the importance and necessity of support. So the answer, Dr. Tachi, is yes.
I like that. I mean, that's a good idea. I mean, that may be something worth exploring, sir. Film festivals, or at least sponsoring one, or being part of a sponsor of one, because film festivals are, I don't know. I'm not like in the film. I just do photography, but I know here in New York City, film festivals are huge, and people really gravitate to them. And you know, people spend lots of money to go to film festivals and check out all the new films that are coming out. We have I've been to about 3 of them in New York City, but there's like, I think maybe about 10 of them every year here in New York City that are really like the big ones. I mean, so I could see Groovy Smoovie on one of those.
100%. You know, Shirley Ralph, you know, actually, Shirley, the first one of the first film festivals I've been to was a friend of mine, Tim Ralph. His sister is Shirley Ralph. And every year actress Shirley Ralph, she used to have a film festival in Jamaica, the Jamaican Film Festival. So, and that was my first experience in, you know, in the film festival world. But no, I would definitely, I would definitely love to be a part of that. In fact, we have I'm putting together a proposal as well with getting our smoothies into, I can't say the name of the theater chain,
right?
The theater chain also.
Nice, because I mean, it's such a great theme. I mean, like you said, it's there's no other one out there. So Smoothie, and it just, I mean, when I was looking at how when I was, typing everything, I looked at your spelling. I said, look at that. It just flows. Smoothie. I mean, Groovy Smoovie. and
Mhm.
having the movie in the name, I
Mhm.
would think it would be a great branch, another branch off to kind of really add your branding into these movie theaters and movie venues and film festivals, and kind of like using that as your vehicle, as a like
Mhm.
a, because it's so connected name wise, it will also bring amazing name recognition.
Yeah, so can you do me a favor, Ron? Call your friend Magic Johnson or Bob Johnson and call them and tell them we need to do this, man. I need to put the team together. Can you make that call for me?
Oh, I have to try. I love, again, like I said, I love what you do. I mean, think about,
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, you using your smoothie company to educate young people, teach leadership, and they are part of the film, being a part of film. And that
Yeah,
may
well,
open some doors for them as well.
yeah, you know what? So, and also with with my space, right? I host events there. So one sister came
Yes.
there. She had a stretching class and a candle making class. So it's kind of
Mm.
one of those places where you can rent out and you can have your personal events. But also something else I do, and I think this is really important because it's near and dear to me too. Um, I show inside. If you see inside of the store, there's classic movie posters. And if you can see one of them there, it's a one older poster called of a movie called A Soldier Story. Now, I don't know if you
Ah.
remember that. That was Denzel's first big movie. It had Adolf Caesar. It had Howard Rollins. And so what I do is I make sure that we showcase some of our old black classic films too, like The Wiz and different things like that. Because I have different people coming in. So when they get to see, like, wow, this is a black movie. Not black, but this is a black, it's a black movie. These are classics. So I don't just do Going with the Wind. I have no problem with those. Those are great. But we also got our classic films
We
too.
got
So I
our
make
classic
sure,
films.
and we need to get those props, man. We have some great
Yes.
actors, great talent, and that needs to be showcased. So it's bigger than just smoothies. I want to showcase talent.
Yes. The
You know,
smoothie is the wheels on the car. It's
right?
like, there's so many. So you got my brain. Well, this for those that don't know, this is how we talk. So
I know, and we
we
end up on
just
the phone for hours.
we just brainstorming out
Um,
loud, and I'm sitting here like, wow, I can see smoothie in so many areas in our world. I mean, it's just like, okay, this would be a great place. But I really do. Kimmy says, that's a great idea. Never saw a smoothie in the
Kimmy,
movie theater.
Kim, I'm telling you, Kimmy, yes, and guess what? It's healthier options than the sodas and all that other
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, that's
All
what we
the
need.
junk. I would rather have a smoothie
Mhm.
because I'm not even calling them smoothies any longer. I'm
They're
calling them
smoothies.
smoothies.
Yeah,
I would rather have a smoothie at the movie theater
right.
than, like you said, than the big jug of sugar, high fruit corn syrup, jugs of soda, and
Mhm.
all the other junk there. But I mean, this is healthy, it's clean, it's wonderful, it's refreshing, it fills you up. So that way, when you drink a soda, you suck through it, and then it's just like goes through you.
Mhm.
But a smoothie or a smoothie, you take your smoothie and you drink the smoothie. You can't drink it all in one gulp. So
No,
it goes with watching the movie.
right. Yes.
I'm just saying. All
I'm
you
gonna need you
movie
for the
people out
commercial.
there, all the movie producers and film theaters creations, y'all need to reach out to this gentleman right here.
Yep, we need one on Tyler. And Tyler has a big studio in Georgia too. So I need to build one in Tyler's studio too. So I have a lot
Yes.
of work to do. So I got like a 5-year plan and a lot of work.
You got to, I mean, but again, there's so much opportunity.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Well,
it's amazing because I think when you, at first, you were just kind of like just giving back to the community and just kind of like
mhm.
just doing your thing to help the community. But now, look at what it can do and look at what it has done, but look at what it can do.
Yeah. I had no
So
idea.
many.
I had no idea that it could propel in so many different directions. There's even more that I didn't talk about, but it's so much that we can give, and creating job opportunity. You know what? One of the things that make me feel really good going to work is really creating employment, and youth training tools. Because
Yes.
those are they're the future. Like, hey,
Yes.
listen, just giving them these training, giving them these entrepreneur opportunities and challenge and learning about the business. But some of these things you learn in school, but a lot of stuff you had to be hands-on. You had to be hands-on and be like, okay, look, I'm in the mix of this right here. And I'm with somebody, and I'm the type of person, right? And you and I are both the same way.
Yeah.
I'll share the information. I'm not a
Yeah.
person, I'm gonna share it. And honestly, I love kids. So having these young, great minds, and they're so informed, they know so much and so creative that sometimes I'll just sit back and be like, okay. And they say, Anton, this is bussing. I'm like, what's bussing? What does that mean? So I'm a little, so it's cool, man.
It's just like me learning this word this week. I mean, last week I was online and someone says, smash the likes. And I was like, what's that?
And all this time, I'm thinking I'm cool. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I'm like, hit
I'm
the
not
like, hit
grandpa,
the
I'm
like.
pop pop, and I don't even know what bussing is. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm gonna just sit back and just be a
Young
pop
folks
pop.
will educate you like no one else can. I remember when I was a youth director and I had I was responsible for kids 13 through 22.
Mhm.
And it was 500 of them. And being a youth director of 500 young people is an experience of its own.
I can
But
imagine.
I would learn so much from young people. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just like they have first of all, their creativity, their
Yes,
energy, their drive, their
yes,
imaginations. You can learn so much from young people. It's just
yes.
they're on the cusp.
Yeah, yes, they are. Yes, they are. And you know what? And again, I maybe I'm a little biased, but I love our people, man.
Well,
Our
you
young
know how we feel about our
They're
folks.
such trendsetters and so like articulate. They could be articulate and so much energy and passion of what they do. And I just think, hey, listen, we have other options other than being a rapper and a basketball player.
Yes, right.
If you want to get into fashion, you want to get into movies, like you don't have to just be a movie star. There's the writers, there's the producers. There's so much opportunity. And I want to do create a platform. I want to have I want to use it as a platform to propel all these and give opportunities to these other younger minds, and some of the older ones too. I had this one lady, she was in her late 70s, and it
Hmm.
was the first time she had a smoothie.
Really?
I was almost in tears, man. I mean, like I had to really, I was emotional, but it was like my grandma, my mom having her first smoothie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I love me a smoothie. I make smoothies. Smoothies are one of my favorite things to make in the house, and
Mhm.
especially during the summertime. Spring,
Yes.
summer, and fall is
Okay.
like my smoothie season. I still do it in the winter, but
Mhm.
it's definitely my summer thing
Mhm.
because again, like I said, I take time drinking it.
Right.
It's not like one gulp and I'm
Mhm.
done. It's just like I can work, I'm sipping, I'm working, I'm sipping, and I love the flavors. Roland says this, and we're going to end with this. Um, Anthony Roland says, when an idea or concept comes from a pure and fertile place, it grows way beyond your expectations.
True.
It takes on a life of its own. We need only cultivate it with the same energy.
You know what? I got it. I need to save that, but that is very well put. Very well put, Anthony.
Anthony Rowland with the last word, as we say, right? That was
That is
good.
very well.
Go ahead, buddy. Respond.
Roland, I tell you, that is probably. I'm gonna take a picture of this. I'm serious right now because that is probably one of the realest, if that's a word, or definitely one of my most appropriate. It's a very good quote, and it's very true. And
I
thank you for
love
that.
it.
Mhm.
That is so good. So good. Dr. Taji says hashtag smoothie newbies.
Movie newbies. I like that.
Smoothie newbies.
Mhm.
Oh man. So guys, if you I'm gonna just put up some where you can find Anthony Anthony
It's
Antoine.
Anthony, Antoine.
I
I get them all.
brain.
AJ.
I had a brain moment. There you go. So you go to the website www.groovysmovies.com. You can also go to his IG account, which is his personal account, Antonne Jones. And then you have also IG Groovy Smoothies, and you can check him out there. And also remember, you can go to the Amazon. That will be linked for the books that he's written and published. So he is the man. He's one of my heroes. And
Thank you.
every time I talk to him, I walk away smarter and more fulfilled.
Likewise.
And that's why anytime we have a conversation, and so one day we were just having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, and we were just chatting, and I said, you know what? We should just take this conversation to the community. And he
Right.
was like, okay, let's do it.
Mhm.
Man, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I am so honored and so happy that you took the time out to spend with us. And I'm sure folks learned some beautiful stuff here. I mean, you gave us some good gems today. And man, you gave us a lot. And it's all about just having a good conversation, just hanging back and just enjoying time together. And this was wonderful.
I appreciate it. And it's always, when I do these lives and get opportunity to speak with people like yourself, interact with, the people that follow you. And it's not just me giving, it's an interchange of encouragement and learning, because obviously I speak, you speak, but I also learn from listening from you and from your people who chime in. Iron sharpens iron, exactly. And that's what that does. And what it does, it fortifies me and gives me encouragement to continue going on. Because even though, you may have these, you may be confident in yourself and what you're doing, but having those positive enforcements and positive words, they help and they go a long way. And I sincerely appreciate that. And anyone who wants to reach me could just DM me directly at my Instagram. So that's, you could do that.
Also, Fifi is saying, and before we go, she says, where can we invest?
Just Felicia, I like that. Just DM me and we could talk about that. Okay.
Nice. Okay, buddy. This was real. I don't want to, you know how it's like when I talk to you anytime, I don't want to get rid of you.
I know, man. We got to do a part 2. We'll do a follow-up when the store comes up. I would love that. How about you come do it live at the store?
I will. That's what I was just thinking. I said I should come down to the opening, do a live, and hang out with you, and just do the whole opening thing with you.
Sounds good.
I love it. That would be our part 2. This would be great. Guy, man, I love you so much. You're such a great friend.
Love you too,
And
brother.
I thank God for you all the time. And you are, again, one of my heroes. And I just love seeing what you're doing and seeing how you're impacting your world and impacting our world.
Thank
you. So thank you for friendship. Thank you for sharing with this our community. And I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to just do a couple of announcements with the family here. And but thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. And
thanks.
And
guys, make sure you put the hearts up. Make sure you show some love. Show some love to the man, Mr. Jones. Say that's right. Put those hearts up. Put those applauds up. Put that. Let the man know you love him and you appreciate what he did.
Love you back.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you go, partner.
All right, thank you.
Bye, buddy.
Bye, everybody.
Wasn't that awesome? Wasn't that awesome? I mean, friendship is an amazing thing. Some people you meet in life, and the first time I met Antoine, I said, this guy is so different. so unique. And he was just carrying conversation. We were just talking. Then I was, we would, I was doing my ambassador duty stuff, and he was connecting with people in the room, uh, in, and I said, this guy he's a special guy. And here we are, years later, almost now I guess 7 years later, 8 years later, still friendship. And every time we get on the phone, we cannot stop talking. And that is that. And I, again, like I said, he's one of my heroes. I learned so much from him. So if you just join, if just so you know, I'm just going to just put some of this. Oh, wait a minute. I got to share something with you guys. Hold on. Stay right with it. Stay right there. I got something in the mail just yesterday, and it takes me to where I want to go, and I'm going to do it right here so that way you can experience this.
True well-being lies in the magic of Manuka. Pure and powerful, Manuka well-being Manuka honey will elevate your wellness, naturally. Our sustainably sourced, golden goodness aids with digestive health, immunity boosting, and is antibacterial. Manuka well-being, wellness has never been sweeter.
And I have it right here. There it is. I got my I got my jar. Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. There we go. I got my jar. I got my jar. And I'm so excited it came in. This is, just so you know, and she is a sponsor of this show. So that's why I've had the commercial up. And also, I would like to, if there's other people that want to sponsor what we do here, you can send me your commercial and we can do and talk about it. But I have learned so much about my client, my interior design client had an autoimmune deficiency, a disease. And she used to have this to put on her wounds, to do things, to eat, this was one of her lifelines. And now to have an actual company sponsored by our wonderful Dr. Tachi, she and her sister this is one of their products. And I'm not sure why the camera's not focusing. There we go. And so I am so proud of Dr. Tachi and what she's offering. And I cannot wait to have my tea later on and open this. I'm going to open the seal. I opened up the box and I was like, holy moly, this was like great packaging. It's the best. And it's from New Zealand, and a product of New Zealand. And congratulations, Dr. Tachi, on this product. I'm so happy to have it. And I can't wait to use it because it has so many healing properties and good for your digestive system, antibiotics, and all. You saw the commercial. And so just supporting her, and because she is a supporter of this show, and she does so much for us on this platform. And so anything I can do to promote what she does. Elise says, I love the packaging, blew my mind. I mean, did you just wait? You want to hear that? Listen to this. I just love it. The packaging, it was so beautiful. It sits in a cradle right in the thing, and then it popped in. I was like, oh my gosh. And it came well packed. And I love it. So, but also let me just give you a couple other rundown. So here we go with our announcements so that we, make sure if you have a friend that's looking for an event photographer, give me a call. I am a photographer here in the city. I do commercial photography, and I also do photography for residentials and parties. And if you have an event I will photograph it. So give me a call, slide into my DMs. Also, join us on my mailing list here, so that way we can stay in contact with you. If there's something was to happen to our internet, being here on these platforms and they go away, but at least we still can contact each other through email. So make sure you do that. And also, just a reminder, if you want to support, you can support. Oops, wrong one there, wrong banner there. There we go. You can support through our Patreon community, and you can do that by going to patreon.com and put in Ron Lewis Photos. That's patreon.com and put in Ron Lewis Photos. And I am so thankful for all of the Patreon members that support what we do here. And if you're not supporting, please support, because that's how we continue to do this. And and this month is Patreon month. So I'm going to just be talking about it every day, ways that you can be a blessing. But then also, you don't have to do it just that way. You can also, on this YouTube channel, there's a little dollar bill down there if you want to support that way too. If you don't, you're like, I don't want to join another organization, I don't want to join Patreon, but I want to support. If you want to support, you can also hit that little dollar, that little bill at the bottom of your YouTube page there on the right hand side. So again, I want to be able to bring more guests to you and bring more people to encourage you, to support you and what you do, and that we can all learn together. This was a great time spending with our wonderful friend, and I know that all of you got something out of it. And I see here I had to take a call. Okay, gotcha. La, 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 la. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay, so we're good, guys. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is our Trend Watch Thursday. We'll have our panel discussion, and we will be talking about what's going on in the news. That is tomorrow. So join us tomorrow. I will see you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love you. Make sure you hit the likes and share this platform. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I love you. Bye-bye. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.